Hello, and welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the ultimate showdown where 64 teams battle head-to-head for fantasy football glory. This is episode 48, and I'm your host, Lauren, and with me are Matt Ane and Corey Bassett. Matt, please introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Matt. I'm excited to dive into this awesome fantasy talk show. Let's hit it, Corey.
Hey everybody! Happy what's today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, lots to cover. Let's get at it.
Awesome. All right. So now before we get started, Fantasy Turf War is something totally new, and we need your help. No one's ever done a 64-team league like this on YouTube before, so if you want us to keep good vibes going, please hit that subscribe button like you're following your favorite influencer, but no rush. We'll take it one post at a time with weekly updates and plenty of fantasy talk. And don't forget to ring that notification bell like it's the latest TikTok shop drop. Stay in the loop, and we promise you won't want to miss it. We also have a goal for us to hit 100 subscribers by October 1st. We have a massive contest coming, but we can't start it until we've met our goal. So please hit that subscribe button. The grand prize, not the only prize, includes a Beckett certified autographed full-size Christian McCaffrey helmet. And we are currently 17 people away from our goal, so please hit that button. Also pay attention for the bonus code to be given out by one of us during the show. You never know when it will pop up, so please stay active, stay listening. And Corey, with that, can you catch us up on what's been going on in the league?
Yeah, it's been a crazy week in Fantasy Turf War. So 64 teams, lots and lots of coordination. Trying to pay attention to some of the storylines. So one of them is that we had 18 undefeated teams going into this week. We now are down to 8. So we lost quite a few this week. So pretty crazy. We have tons of new records that are set. Matt is owning one of them. Actually, I think you're mentioned in 2 of them, but. You'll have to wait until Thursday to find out exactly which ones you got and whether it's a good or bad record, because there are highs and lows.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot to cover. We have officially we have finished our mascots. I don't know if anyone caught what they look like now on the YouTube. What is it called? The banner, whatever that's called. So there's a sneak peek on there. You'll get a full rundown on Thursday's show, and then we also are covering our trophies again. So. In the video last week, we put out that we were looking for user submissions as to what the votes or what kind of trophies should be for divisions 1 and 2, and not a lot of feedback yet. So if you want to have a say in what your trophy looks like or the division trophy looks like, make sure you go to that video and vote in the comments. And then speaking of trophies, if you haven't seen it yet, we showed off our first of its kind custom legendary championship ring, which is made from in partnership with our friends over at Trophy Smack. The thing is fire. It's a keepsake, and it's going to go to the overall winner of Fantasy Turf War Season 1. It's theirs to keep. They don't have to pass that on. Something that hopefully they'll never forget. So if you haven't seen those videos or that short yet, please go check it out. And the best part about it is you can make your own custom ring over at Trophy Smack. Head on over to Trophy Smack's website and the link below, and you can create one yourself, completely custom. Really not that expensive, but a huge shout out to Trophy Smack for helping us put together this custom ring and hopefully promote some of our guys to a legendary status there. And most of the trophies this year will be all from Trophy Smack as well. So good stuff. On a production side, we got a couple things here. Just a reminder, all of our content is officially on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and fully as of last week, we are on Rumble. All of our episodes are on there as well, getting some really good traction. This video will be on Rumble tonight, and then all the other platforms first thing in the morning, but our YouTube audience gets it first for now. Might be doing some multi-streams next week, more to come. Let's see. And, this is the normal part of the show, and I'm going to see, when I sit up, it means I'm saying something cool or important, maybe. But this is part of the show where I normally toss it back to Lauren, and they're all giving me crazy. I was like, what the hell are you about to do? But I just wanted to take a moment here before we get started and go down the rabbit hole, right? I just want to make sure that you guys know that we appreciate everything you guys do with us, including my team and the audience at home. I appreciate everything you guys do, wherever you're hearing from us, in whatever format you're hearing from us. And it's not lost on us that you are choosing to spend an hour of your time with us every week, and we love and appreciate you all for it. So in that regard, it's our responsibility to give you a solid return of investment for that hour you're spending with us. in news and fantasy football news and NFL news that you actually give a shit about, right? So, for example, Christian McCaffrey, we're going to hit it once and that's it. So he's in Germany getting that second opinion. You're going to hear that everywhere else. So, we want to be respectful of your time, and you're going to hear that somewhere else anyway. We want to give you that next level of the information. We want to make sure that it's actually relevant to you and it's something you're going to care about. So last week we did a pretty hard pivot. And instead of covering like around the league news, we hit some very specific topics, and that was very well received by the audience. And so, thank you all for the feedback. Please continue giving it. And that's, I think, where the show is going to start to head, is make sure it's a really relevant and solid return of your investment of time with us, and hopefully providing you some, comedy and entertainment along the way. If Matt takes off that stupid Yankees hat.
Never.
Anyways, Fantasy Turf War, we're all about community too, right? So whether you're one of the 64 teams in the league and you're part of that endeavor, or you're one of the audience members following along at home and just keeping tabs on things, you're part of the community as well. So we want to make sure that we hear from you. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We are watching. I'm watching the whole time. We're going to address a lot of these questions, hopefully naturally, through our conversation, but we're also carving out the last few minutes of every show to specifically cover the questions that you have. So if we happen to cover it, we may not answer it at the end of the show, but the idea is to deliberately give you time at home to get your questions answered so that you can answer whatever lineup questions you may have going into the waivers tonight, or whatever that may be. So hang out with us. We'll do everything we can to answer you. Eventually, once we've hit enough subscribers and thresholds like that, we'll have super chats, so your questions can be prioritized, and we'll cover that later. But we just want you to know that we all appreciate Matt, Lauren, and I. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, but we appreciate you guys all being on this journey with us and growing with us. And I'm going to get off the soapbox now. So Lauren, back to you.
That was so sweet, Corey. Love that. Okay. So starting off with tonight's episode, just getting right into the content, we're going to be talking about who you should be adding to your team, who you should maybe be looking at and looking, ooh, do I maybe need to drop them because they're busting, or just simply, players to be watching. All right. So starting off strong, we're going to start with Mr. Wide Receiver Juwan Jennings of the 49ers, and I'm going to pass it to Matt to give his opinion first.
All right. So Juwan Jennings of the San Francisco 49ers had a massive game. 11 receptions for 175 yards and 3 reception touchdowns. The dude threw up 41 points and half-point PPR. Now, he's a must-add. He's about 33% owned on Yahoo. And if he's available in your league, you should be adding him. I don't think he's going to repeat what he did. Obviously, this is a super out-of-pocket game, but I could totally see him being productive at least going into next week. You look at it, you're not sure of the status of Kittle. You're not sure of the status of Deebo Samuel. I think it's multi-week, missing. They're going to miss multiple weeks. So that means you're going to be able to slot in Juwan Jennings for a few weeks and him be productive for you. So this is how I'm going to play it, right? I'm not doing a full fab dump if you play in a fab league, which is how you should be playing because, standard waiver wire system is just not great anymore. I wouldn't be doing a full. I'd be maybe doing like 20%, 15%. That'd be the range where I'd be willing to dump on him because, unless we hear that, Deebo Samuel is done for the season or George Kittle's done for the season, I think that at some point his production will go down where he'll be more of like a third, fourth option in this offense, and then there's not going to be enough production to go around with Deebo being the monster that he is and Kittle being the monster that he is. And if for some reason Ayuk even wakes up, then he really slides into the back of this in terms of who's going to have the most production and targets. And I feel like unfortunately Jennings is going to be the one that kind of falls to the back because the other ones are just so dominant. So Juwan Jennings, short-term rental, but definitely worth a good amount of dump, about 15 to 20%, depending on your needs. I'm totally adding him everywhere.
Agreed. Lauren, do you have any stock in Jennings?
I would like to say that we discussed Juwan Jennings a couple weeks ago, and Matt kind of shit on my parade there. Not saying anything, but I mean, yeah, I think he's an awesome pickup. I think from just the options that we've had so far from the 49ers are the major starters getting injured, and you see Jordan Mason entering and now Juwan Jennings. I agree with Matt that I don't think this like Juwan is going to keep booming. Obviously, you can hope for the best, but I do think that there are wide receivers on that team that are going to take up the plays from now on. I just think it happened to be an awesome game for him. But yeah, definitely pick him up. I think he's an awesome flex player to have, especially during the games the 49ers are playing certain teams that you have, that may be a little worse than others.
Yeah. So the way I look at it, especially when we get into weeks 3, 4, and we start to head in towards the bye weeks, is filling a need, solving a problem. So for me, especially looking at the 64 teams in our league, like there are some teams that are just decimated by injuries, to keep it YouTube appropriate, right? So if you are in one of those spots where, look, you've got to start making some moves. You might be 0-3, unfortunately. You don't want to get to 0-4, 0-5. It's not impossible, but not probable. So I would be giving a hard look at someone that's injured that might be missing significant time, and Jennings in particular, but anybody else we're talking about tonight. Maybe putting them on the roster just to make sure that if something happens with them, they kind of take off, or they find the target share. You already have that stake, but that would be my approach to this. Is if I'm looking to make moves, these are the people I want to take this week. Jennings is definitely top of that list.
Yeah,
Awesome.
completely agree.
What jersey are you wearing, by the way?
Malik Neighbors.
That's a choice.
I mean, solid player, bad team, whatever.
You said solid team?
No, I said solid player, bad team. Don't mix words here. I don't want it clipped that I'm a Giants fan or some crap.
Solid team and Giants just haven't been the thing for the last couple of years. But I mean, you're a Raiders fan, so you really can't talk.
Hey, this week we're not going to get into it. We don't need to go there.
I feel like I need to remove myself from the center right here.
And
y'all need your
Dalton.
Well, Matt, it's been great having you.
Yeah, Corey, I did wear this for you. This is for you, Corey.
I almost made a hot take at the beginning of the year to say that Panthers were going to go 0-16, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I would have had to eat all of those words.
Bold prediction. It's fine.
It wasn't really that bold. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, not too bold.
I don't know. Watch them win like 7 now because of Andy Dalton.
That'd be fine. As a Carolinian, I'd be okay with that, because we'd have something to root for once.
Yeah, but then you can't afford to go to the games because then they'll actually charge real prices.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shit's
Go ahead and buy your
these
season
days.
tickets now.
Panthers need to stay bad so I can actually afford to go to games.
Exactly. Go see teams you want to see.
All right, who else we got? Before I get myself into some rant, Raiders business decision shit at the press conference. Anyways, what does that even mean? It's a business decision. He likes his money.
Know.
Whatever. You guys even know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all.
Is the head coach or the GM? After a post game press conference, they were basically questioning why they made certain play calls, and he said basically it's a business decision, and he likes his money and whatever.
Sheesh.
Whatever. Anyways,
right.
Who else we got?
Anyways. Moving on.
All right, so I guess
our next.
Lauren.
You mean go for it? No, you go for it.
I'm sorry.
It's the Yankees hat. It's throwing him off.
It is.
It's like a dunce cap, really.
You mean 27 World Series?
When's the last one?
5. 2009.
Okay, so this is like a 15-second culture where like our attention spans that long. So even my Cubs in 2016, people forgot.
It's okay. But anyway, this is not a baseball podcast. Come on mine, and we
Anyway,
can talk about it. All right. Anyway, our next guy is Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving of the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays. See, now you got me thinking baseball. It's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay. He's the backup running back for Rashad White, and the reason why we're talking about him is there's an opportunity for him to come in and essentially take this job out from Rashad White. There is a world and a way. Rashad White is a completely inefficient running back. Last year he had 3.6 yards per carry. This year he's averaging about 2.1. He even has 31 attempts with 66 yards on the season right now. That's atrocious. You look at it and the way Tampa's playing and things like that. You know, what are they going to want to keep a guy like this that's being super inefficient um behind the line of script, like sorry, in the backfield essentially, and you know not being able to produce the run? They pretty much, okay, let's just cover Godwin and Evans and just completely eliminate them and make them run the ball. That's essentially what teams can do. You see how they can just remove players. They removed Mark Andrews in week 1. You can remove any player at that point if you just hyper focus on 2 players. So hey, run the ball. It's like saying to, I don't know, Ben Simmons, hey, shoot the ball, because he won't, because he can only drive or dunk. So it's the same thing here. And Bucky Irving actually does have the ability to do so. He had a great collegiate career. He's 36% owned, just throwing that out there before I forget. But his collegiate career in 2023 when he played for Oregon was pretty great. 186 attempts, 1,180 yards. He also scored 11 touchdowns. He had 56 receptions and 413 yards and had 2 receiving touchdowns. The dude actually has some game and played for a pretty good team, too. I mean, Oregon is not a pushover team. They do play good teams. But you look at college football as a whole, and there's a lot of fluff games and about 2 or 3 games that actually matter. So, but either way, Bucky Irving can step up and be super efficient, and be the possible team that can, yeah, I mean, possible player that could come in and step up. So he's more of like a second half play. But honestly, too, if Rashad White goes down to injury, Bucky Irving steps in to be somebody that can be very productive very quickly in a good offense right now. I'm excusing what happened over the weekend because they've just looked so darn good. So ultimately, Bucky Irving is somebody you need to add, especially if you're the Rashad White owner.
Great call. Lauren, do you have Bucky?
I do not have Bucky. um, but I agree with what Matt's saying in the sense that I think that this is one of those players that you want to pick up in the sense that we're getting into week 4 and people are starting to get injured, and more people are starting to get hurt, and you're going to start picking up players that you probably never heard of before, but they're going to start producing points for you because they're replacing those starters that you know so well. um, yeah, I have notes on his college career and the numbers show, and yeah, I mean, I think he's a great option to pick up on your team.
Yeah, I agree. It's usually pretty good a good sense of their athletic ability when the three of us are in kind of a consensus. And so, speaking of Bucky, we had some very tough decisions to make before the show, and so I had Matt pick between Bucky, Irving, and someone else. And so, part of the contest that is coming up 1 October, or if we hit 100 subscribers, it's already locked and loaded. So look, if we hit 100 subscribers tonight, it's going up tonight. One of the other things you will be winning, and let me see if I get the camera right on this, is a Bucky Irving. I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it. A Bucky Irving 1 of 1 collectible football card. So that will be in there. But the bonus code for tonight is Bucky, if you haven't guessed. Bucky, Bucky. That'll be the bonus code. You're going to have to write that down and hold on to it until the contest starts. But once it starts, you'll be able to type that into the contest, and you'll get 100 extra entries into the contest. So it's a big leg up. And if other people aren't watching the show tonight, we didn't put it in text. We didn't put it in any sort of show description or anything like that, so only the people who are watching tonight will know it. And if you know, you know, and that is a good advantage. So you never know. Those codes will pop up in any random show. Sometimes we'll announce them ahead of time. Sometimes we won't. So you'll just want to get into the content to find out. But I like Bucky Irving, so go ahead.
Looking forward to it.
I am super
Lauren, who we got next?
upset that I have to give away a 1 of 1 though. That's a cool card.
Yeah.
Very cool card. But one of our people will have it, so that'll be even more cool.
That is true. I definitely won't like display it in the way it deserves. So hopefully the person who wins it like gets to treat it nicely.
Takes a better photo of it and does a
Yeah,
one of these.
I hate doing the look what I have on camera thing. It never looks well on camera, but it was worth showing. So
Lauren, who do we have next?
All right, next we have. Oop, I lost my thought. Oh, Mr. Chubba Hubbard.
bless you.
From the. What's up?
Nothing.
All right.
Oh,
Anyway, as the sweatshirt I am wearing, I mean, he's lit. I love his name. He I'll read my. Sorry, I'm like all words right now. Hubbard stepped up with 60 rushing yards and a touchdown. He was heavily involved in the offense, especially in the red zone, making him a valuable fantasy option moving forward. Again, a lot of these people we're going to be talking about are going to be people that, well, no, I mean, I heard his name before this, but I believe I may be in a different category. Are probably people that you may not have heard of or whatnot, probably your RB2, RB3 options. He's an RB2 option. I believe he got the option to really show what he can do this past weekend against the Raiders. And hopefully he can continue to do so. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
To throw it in there.
Of course. But I am a fan. We were talking about him come, in the offseason about, if you draft Jonathan Brooks, who are you going to kind of pair with to, kind of take up the time when he's first eligible and then he's actually returning and performing. Chuba Hubbard had a great end of the season, and that's part of the reason why I was sold on him. He showed it off this year. I mean, you look at like from like week 12 on, and he had 17 points, 22 points, 10 points, 11 points, 11 points, 9 points, 10 points. This is all great off a waiver wire pickup. He's 53% owned on Yahoo right now, and he has all the potential in the world. I like him. Not only does he, get the rushing attempts, he had 21 in this last game, but he also had 5 receptions for 55 yards and another reception touchdown to boot. So you look at it, he's doing everything you want out of a running back on a starting running back for a team that needs some offense. And with the Andy Dalton action, it really could be something that can really boost Chuba Hubbard's production. And if they can start moving the ball, it's going to free it up. So if he's out there in leagues, which again, 53% owned, he's pretty decently owned, but not enough for me to say, not enough for us not to talk about him. So please, and go ahead and add Chuba Hubbard. I think he's going to be a fantastic add. And if you have Jonathan Brooks, there is no reason you should not have this kid on your team.
Yeah, and he's kind of been the proverbial RB2 a lot, but he seems to get a lot of workload in that sense too, because he was a backup for McCaffrey for years. So in that sense, you should be kind of used to having him as a stash in case something happens. So that's not different anymore. Like it's not different right now. So pick him up if you don't have him. If he's not owned, you should be owning him. You never know where he lands. He does tend to put up some decent numbers, but he'll in a healthy team he'll usually be an RB2. But while that person's out, always make sure you've got that stock in there.
I would like to correct myself in mispronouncing his name. I did not know. If everyone else doesn't know, like these men do, it's Chuba. Good to know.
I've had a lot of McCaffrey ownership over the years, if you probably never guessed, and so like I'm so used to having him as a backup, I'm just more aware of him.
Well, I mean, I think it's more fun the way that I said it, but anyway.
It'll make for good short clip content. So thanks.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. All right. So are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So our next person is Braylon Allen from the Jets.
Got that right.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to go for it?
Sure. Braylon Allen is about 36% owned, plays for the New York Jets. He is the backup to Brees Hall. Why are we talking about a backup other than, Irving, who has the potential to steal the job? Well, there's a few reasons. Braylon Allen has been creating opportunities and earning more and more touches. He had 11 attempts in his last start in the last game against New England and put up about 55 yards, averaged 5 yards per carry, and was looking pretty great. He also earned himself 3 targets and caught 3 receptions for 13 yards. You look at it and you go, okay, is this a guy that's going to kind of take a little bit of workload off of Brees Hall so they can make him healthy all season? Is he going to be productive while he has that? Yeah, absolutely. And what's even better is, God forbid, which I hope not, because I am a Brees Hall owner, that if Brees Hall goes down for some reason, then Allen should take the full workload and be super productive. We're already starting to see him, take advantage of his opportunities in short stints. Imagine if he had the job full time. So he's somebody that, like, God forbid he was out on the waiver wire and Brees Hall were to go down, he'd be a full blown fab dump or a number one waiver wire priority. So you got to pretty much just stay ahead of the waiver wire and kind of stash him now. So, like, you know, anything happens, or if he starts carving out himself a little bit more to a split, which again I hope never happens, it's going to be more and more valuable. So add him now, get ahead of the waiver wire, and see what happens. 36% owned.
Yeah, 36%.
I think.
Go for it.
Go. Okay, I think I lost it. Go. I lost the thought. Go.
36%. So I was going to make a remark about Jets running backs, but I think with they've been a decent team this year, so I'm going to lay off. But 36% owned, so more than likely he's still available in your league. It is a solid pickup, and they might actually have something going here. So you never know. You never want someone to get injured, but I think Braylon Allen's a good pickup this week.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of us just talking about this kind of stuff is you can start your fantasy league out 0-3 and end up winning your whole league. You just have to pay attention. And us directive telling you, hey, put this person on your team, put this person on your team, put this person on your team. Just stay ahead of literally, like, just like Matt said, if you do have Hall, you might as well add Braylon Allen just as an option, because literally you never know when someone could get injured, and how severe the injury could be. And you never know who's also in your league that's paying attention. So that's my advice for this one.
Yeah, and you never know, right? So if let's go strategy for a couple minutes here. So there's a method to this, right? Some people knock on it quite a bit. I like to knock on it as a joke, but it is effective because they usually end up in the playoffs. It's called ambulance chasing. So it's a thing. And what I usually tell people about fantasy drafts is you can't win a fantasy football league in your draft. You can definitely lose one in your draft. But it's all what it comes down to is how do you actually manage your week-to-week transactions and what kind of moves are you making? Do you have solid players? Are you reactive to your players' injuries or bye weeks? Like, how are you able to manage? And so you might be 0-3, and let's hope you don't go 0-4 this week because you picked up some advice from our show. Wink, wink. But if not, it's all Matt. You can address that to @MatthewAne. Anyways, so pay attention. You want to do your own research, figure out who's available in your leagues, make the moves that you think are smart. Sometimes projections are off. Yahoo is notorious for being off until the game starts, and then they get really, really accurate. So just be careful, and what you're going for is potential. So what we're recommending with Braylon Allen, whenever you have someone who has a running back with a high volume of work on a team, they're a solid RB1. There's a team that uses running back a lot. Almost instinctively, you need to have their backup in case something goes wrong. Christian McCaffrey, perfect example. I said it twice. I said I was only said it once today. Paul would be the same kind of player where you should automatically have their backup to protect yourself. So that's just kind of another soapbox strategy moment there.
It's a fair point. Insurance running backs are something that is key because running backs get hurt more often than not. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. And if they do manage to stay healthy for all 18 games, then God has blessed them pretty well. He has pretty much said, "Hey, we're going to keep you off the hospital bills this year." But usually that's what it comes with. But also too, stashing other people's backups, insurance running backs is also something brilliant to do too, because not only do you supplant them from being able to go and replace that player, but also too, then you get a bump for a starting running back for at least a week or two. It's all about manufacturing the wins in fantasy football. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to win and put up the most points each week. So, who cares? Go ahead and stash them because that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done to every Brees Hall owner where I don't have Brees Hall. So do it now.
Yep. All right. So
Awesome.
before we get into the next guy, I think we've got someone in the show watching right now that probably can't wait until the end of the show to get their help. So actually, we got one before that. So I'm going to throw this in because he threw it in first. Let me pull up the overlay. Sorry, 1 second. Overlay. I know how to do this, I think. Here we go. All right, so let's see, add to broadcast. So, where is he at? Nope, that's not it. Come on. So, Cameron Bassett threw in the chat, Cubs equals can you beat somebody? I'd just like to point out, I know as a personal fact, that this man is a White Sox fan. And so I feel like that's not an appropriate position to take as a White Sox fan this year. Do you agree, Matt?
I would. I would also say that they are also beating the Phillies pants off right now. I think about 10-1. So they are beating somebody. And the White Sox have the worst team in baseball and worst record in the history of baseball this year. So
yeah,
rough.
I mean, look, a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Anyways, but there is actually a real football fan in here that does need our help. So let's get to them. So Dylan, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Fink. So he is 0-3. All players are struggling and hurt. A redraft, full PPR. He just traded away Antonio Richardson, Etienne, and Wilson to get Lamar, Montgomery, Ayuk. I'm going to put it back. So to get Lamar, Montgomery, and Ayuk, do it. Felt risky. I love Wilson, but can't afford another loss.
So you're trading Anthony Richardson and ETN and Wilson to get Lamar, Montgomery, and Ayuk. Yeah, that's a smash. In all honesty, for me at least, because Lamar Jackson's right now, QB2, if not QB1. Anthony Richardson is the most inefficient quarterback I've ever seen play. The only thing he does is run really fast. ETN has been decent, but isn't doing what he did last year and isn't being as efficient. And I don't know which Wilson, but any Wilson that I think is playing right now, really, unless it's Garrett Wilson, that would change things for me. That'd be the only one I'd probably remove from that trade. And just say, still give me Lamar, Montgomery, and Ayuk. Ayuk hasn't performed. Montgomery is still in a timeshare, and you're really only upgrading at quarterback. Other than that, you're pretty much downgrading in both other categories. So it's a lose for that. So take out Garrett Wilson, and I would do that trade.
Yeah, I think I would do the trade too, even if it meant keeping in Wilson, whichever Wilson it was, just because you're 0-3 and there's got to be some sort of upside for them. Maybe it's enough, but it's definitely not an automatic no. All right, so we'll continue to monitor the chat for questions. So keep throwing them in there. There's tons to get to at the end, but let's go ahead and let's cover a couple more guys, and then we'll dive into the chat.
Sweet.
All right. So our next guy is Rico Dowdle on the Cowboys.
Yes, you got it.
Dowdle. I'm never gonna have a good opinion about the Dallas Cowboys. So I feel like I'm just not the best person to give an opinion on this. I don't know if you all have seen this, but I have to mention it. There's a meme account on Instagram that every year they create a little image, and it's are you still them boys? And it has every quarterback that beats them, and they add to it every week. And there's already 2 on there, and it started off really good this year with 0, and now there's 2, and every week I really hope it just gets more and more and more. But speaking about Rico, um, I think the Cowboys need help in some area. This past weekend, it was their defense. I don't have too many opinions on him. If I could just pass it to Matt.
I got you. So when it comes to Rico Dowdle, he is the better running back of the two. Ezekiel Elliott is pretty much, you know, done. Super inefficient runner. Not that Dowdle has been, the picture of statistical, brilliance this year. I mean, Zeke is doing a 3.3 and Dowdle's doing about a 3.8, so they're not too far off. But Dowdle also isn't getting the opportunity like Zeke is. It's getting increased, this last week, and he has more attempts than Zeke now on the season. But I think that you know, after the bye week, I would say, or maybe like second half, like as we approach week 8, we're going to start seeing more of Dowdle's kind of like breakout. Not going to say this kid's going to be like somebody that's going to be super uber efficient and we're going to love him. He's the next fantasy star, but there's a world and a way where this kid is essentially for the second half of the season an RB2 at least. So I'm at this point where I'm just like, yo, he needs to be added starting running back for a team that's going to win about 10 games and score touchdowns and get into the red zone. Why not benefit from that? And it doesn't matter how it comes. Rico Dowdle is somebody that I'm all about just based off of the opportunity and production that should be coming his way.
Yeah, this one is a little less urgency, I think, on my end. It's one of those buy and hold, or buy low and hold on to it for a while, just in case the production value goes up. I think there's probably better options on your waiver wire, the ones that we've talked about earlier in the show, but definitely worth stashing if you've got the space. Yeah, not a bad pickup though, and could be, to add it in there, like it could be one of those where if, let's say, you don't necessarily need to pick somebody up, but another team does, this could be one of those players that you stash just to prevent any possible breakout from them. So that is also a strategy. Not that I partake in sniping, but yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Are we good to move on to the next one?
Yep.
I would say so.
All right. All right.
Do it.
You got it.
If everybody could see the guest chat, I just asked everybody to pronounce his name, and they will not let me not say it. So okay. We have running back Cordarrelle Patterson. Did I say that correctly? Please.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
That's
okay.
close enough.
I'm not good with pronunciations. All right. Cordarrelle Patterson, he's on the Steelers. He was on the Falcons in the past. I don't have too much to say about that. He definitely showed up this past weekend. I don't have too many opinions on this one.
It's a deep league kind of pickup. Honestly, you look at it like this: Najee Harris was banged up, but it looks like he's going to play this weekend. Jalen Warren is out, so Cordell Patterson is somebody that it should receive some of the work. He was efficient when he was on Atlanta, surprised everybody. Was honestly like a waiver wire darling for a couple weeks, and was somebody that was able to produce. So him and the Steelers for a team that wants to run and wants to limit the amount of times Fields throws the ball until he gets really the hang of the offense. Really says, hey, there's a way and an opportunity where he just should fall magically into some production. And Najee goes down, he's the only option they got. So let's just go in and possibly stash him. Like in a league like Fantasy Turf Wars, he's the perfect ad. Okay, where the waiver wire is completely thrashed and looks like a post-apocalyptic world. So you got to pick up guys like, Cordell Patterson. And this is the perfect way to do it. Pick him up. Let's see what happens. If Najee somehow goes down, you got a starting running back for the Steelers that have a decent line and are winning games, and then all they want to do is run. So I'm adding him in a deeper league, 10 team, 8 team, 12 team. I'm not really touching him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Cordarrelle is a solid player. In a deeper league, he's had a lot of benefits before. He's a solid streamer, so I think he is dealing with some injuries. So keep an eye on him. He's definitely a producer when he is in. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. All
For
right.
sure.
Moving on, we have what?
Good luck pronouncing that one.
Go for it.
I got this one. Come on now. All right. We have running back Rashawn Johnson. Thank you. From the Chicago Bears. He's a rookie, so there's not too much to base it off on, but he did get some playing time on Sunday against the Colts, although the Bears did lose. I think this is one of those ones to add to your watch list, me personally, because he didn't get too much access to the ball on Sunday, but definitely someone that I would add the little star on your watch list and just keep after him, especially, again, the whole injury thing. If you need a running back, kind of like Matt was saying, running backs, the best ones, they're like a dime a dozen, and once they're gone, typically their star power is not really replaced, but it's aided. So this one definitely add it to your watch list. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so here's why he's on the show and why I kind of picked him out. DeAndre Swift is really not performing there, and the offense needs some push. Roschon Johnson was there the year before, and it was at least somewhat productive. And Matt Eberflus is a fan of Roschon, and even though Swift was the guy they came in and paid, doesn't mean that his job is secure. So with this, it's more of just like a stash play. Yeah, watch list is probably a good one, but the thing is, like, I'm sneaky, so I do this every week. So just follow my lead with this. So come Saturday night, add Johnson, and come Monday, drop him if Swift doesn't go down or if Roschon Johnson has not been, pretty much put in as the RB1. And then you just keep doing that week in and week out until something happens or until DeAndre Swift decides to blow up and become awesome like he was on the Eagles last year. So let's just see what happens. He's somebody just kind of want to just be ahead of the waiver wire and kind of stash come Saturday and then drop come Monday.
Yeah, so what I'm taking from that is Matt is a huge Bears fan, and he's going to own Johnson in all of his leagues. And also, we now know his strategy in fantasy football, and he's that guy. So
I am.
I mean, it's not. What's your record right now? 1-2, 2-1, 2-1,
2-1,
2-1. All right, we'll hold off on that for now. So yeah, you're right on all fronts, right? So Mixon's out. You have Swift. Swift got paid, so he's going to get the looks first. But if he's not producing, they've got to go to somebody, and it's Chicago outside. So as the season goes on, the weather's going to get worse. They're going to throw less, run more. So if Swift can't get it together, he's going to be the guy to get looks. So it might not be the pickup for this week, but if you have the bandwidth to stash him for a bit, not a bad idea. I think your return week by week is going to get better and better as it goes. So not a bad one to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
All
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's do. We got one more or two more?
2 more.
Pick.
Do you want to do a question?
Pick one, and then we'll go to questions.
Pick one? Okay.
Either one of you.
Do you have a preference for who's last?
Your choice. Whoever you want to talk about.
Whichever name you can say.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Next we have running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
But sure.
Isn't it
Stop!
H?
Did I say that wrong? Did I say it wrong? Stop. I can't catch a break.
She read it fully.
No.
To be fair, Lauren has made a cross country trip this week. She's thoroughly exhausted, so she gets a
I moved
pass.
From Atlanta to North Dakota.
So
Yeah.
so
Just want
next week,
everyone to know that.
what's the excuse, Corey?
I don't know. Well, they say mine
That
not, why
I
not?
drove 23 hours. That's my excuse, Matthew. Thank you
I
very
said for next
much.
week.
Oh, no excuse. No excuse.
Fair enough.
My
Fair
excuse
warning.
then is I'm not good at pronouncing names. That's my thing. So if
It's all
Matt, if
good.
you could pronounce that for me, that'd be great.
It's just a
I mean, you
silent
were
H.
close. Yeah, it's Elair instead of Hilaire. Not like hilarious, just Elair.
I remember it like
Okay.
eclair, but not the
Yeah.
C because I'm hungry all the time.
See, that sounded wrong when I said it because I've
Cool.
literally, this man has been on my team
Eclairs.
before. All right. There you go. I just never knew. I probably never just heard it said. Anyway. So Clyde has been on the Chiefs for I don't know how many years, but I've had him before. He's been pretty inconsistent, honestly, in past years. But the Chiefs keep him for a reason. I don't think they have a stupid team whatsoever. So awesome RB2 option, awesome flex option. I think the Chiefs are still figuring things out with their offense, in my opinion, with what occurred this past weekend. And yeah, I think again, awesome RB2 option, awesome flex option. He's getting more ball time, I believe, but it's just again, probably not your number one option, but yeah, look after him.
So with Clyde, he's actually a stash. So unfortunately, my man is dealing with a little PTSD. Is actually on the IL right now. Eligible back next week. That's why he's on this. For week 5, but was dealing with some mental health issues, and that's why he's not with the team. Otherwise, he would have started off the season with them. He still wouldn't have been the starting running back. Isaiah Pacheco pretty much locked that down. But with him being there full time at the start of the season, I think he probably would have been the no-brainer pickup for this season. He probably actually would have been drafted in a lot of leagues, even though he's not an efficient running back or anything good. He still knows the offense. He was the Chiefs' first-round pick a few years ago, and somebody that's been with the team for a bit and has won the last couple of Super Bowls with them. So a guy that's able to catch the ball, knows the offense, and pretty much just slot in and be efficient, yeah, they're going to do it. So, like, if he decides to come back next week and, they activate him, he could literally destroy, your Carson Steels, your Kareem Hunt ads, and I forgot the other guy that was in the mix for that team as a starting running back. I think it's maybe Samaje P. Ryan. I'm probably wrong, but you know, they're all could be blown up because Allaire is somebody that Andy Reid likes, trusts, and when you have the trust of your coach, you're the one that's going to get the rock. So Clyde is somebody that should be stashed. I don't think he'll be back next week. It's probably more like a week 6. Give the guy a week just to get back in shape. But then, boom, here we go. So add him now. Add him right to your IL. If you don't have an IL, don't stash him at all. But maybe do what I say and add him on Saturday before so that you could kind of be ahead of the waiver wires just in case.
Look, everybody's gonna go do that now, and you're gonna get such hate because you've now promoted this method. But no, you're right. That's the way to do it.
Hey,
I was trying to pull up some stats while you were talking. So, Kelsey, the tight end, currently ranked 11th in fantasy football right now for tight ends. So I would say yes, their offense is still trying to get it together. Which I'm totally on board for because Taylor Swift and all that stuff. Whatever. Yeah, so they're getting it together. CEH is that a song or something? Lauren smirked like I made a reference that I didn't know.
Hey,
what did you?
I'm
say?
just I don't believe you should make Taylor Swift hate on this. That's the last group of people that I'd want in the comments being mean is Swifties. So please.
Look, engagement's engagement. We're a growing company. We appreciate the conversation. Some Swifties wanted to.
What they can do. Corey, you don't know what they can do.
So
They're scary.
Swifties in any space that isn't her music doesn't belong.
Well, yeah, they're just they're kind of okay. I'm not gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna say bad things.
They're a little loony.
Look, they buy jerseys. They're good for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Just one jersey, but anyways. So CEH, yeah, you're right. I do think he could come back in 5. I think he's probably week 6. Would be an indicator of what Kansas City's feeling in terms of their strength as a team. If they feel like they're being put into a corner, they might bring them back a little bit faster. 6 is probably the optimal. But yeah, so put them on the lineup if you can. Put them in that spot. Just hold on to them for a while, and then keep an eye on it. You never know when people come back from things when it's non-physical injuries. Sometimes it can come and go pretty quickly and suddenly. So just keep an eye on them. But a good stash. All right, so we've got let's say a good 10 minutes left. So let's go get some chats. All right, lightning round. All right, we're not talking about the White Sox anymore. All right, you got 3 seconds to answer. Trade DK and Connor for JT and Ayuk. 2.
I don't know who JT
God.
is.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah,
Justin
wait, yeah.
Timberlake?
Who's JT? Oh, heck yeah, then. No.
So DK Metcalf and Connor for who would that be? Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, that makes more sense. Today, no, I am not doing that.
Fair enough.
Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, not a good combo. So anything with Anthony Richardson is a see you later.
All right, we already got Dylan's question. This one comes from Riley. Should I trade Etienne and Godwin for Hall and Worthy? I'm assuming that's Worthy.
Yes,
Interesting.
absolutely. ETN, Hall win, Hall over Godwin, absolutely, and then Xavier Worthy's absolute upside, absolutely.
Yeah, looks good all around. All right, this one's just for Lauren. Olave or Garrett Wilson?
Bruh. I just...
All right,
I
Matt,
would go
you can answer
Olave,
too.
in my opinion. What?
Matt, you can answer.
I give you my opinion.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I said Olave.
Oh, okay. I think I agree.
I disagree. I'm
You
going
think?
Garrett Wilson.
All right.
Yankees
All
fans.
right. Get out of here. Kick him. Wait, wrong way. Kick him that way.
I'm just saying that the offense is, going through Garrett Wilson, whereas the offense is going through Rashid Shaheed. Sorry, I almost
you.
got along. Thank you. And if he's not the one or he's not getting all the production, I mean, yes, it's only 3 weeks, but why would I lean on anybody but Garrett Wilson at that point? I think Olave is just pretty much kind of put into the back, and plus that offense is running once they get a lead, so that's what it is.
Fair enough. All right, Bob, I think you got some engagement from the comments talking to each other, but Bob is asking, trade Johnston and Swift for Mike Evans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that immediately. If you have the opportunity to get Mike Evans for that, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Cameron Bassett just wants us to know it's now pronounced DeAndre Swifty, which is another reason why I'm not a Bears fan.
Ugh. Is she next? Is he going to get a podcast next? Is that what's going to happen?
All right, I think we got one more here. Keep them coming, though, if you've got them. So should I trade James Conner and Mike Evans for A-Chain? Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown, so I'm feeling good at receiver. He also has Shakir, Higgins, Hopkins, Judy, sorry, I got to pull that one back up, as backups, and a 10-man PPR redraft. So I'd say this must be a 8-10 team, because wish I had this kind of bench.
That's tough. I think I'm going to hold, though. A-Chain obviously is like, a stub toe away from not playing. Also, too, the no Tua Tagovailoa action. That offense just looked kind of ugly. And, again, it's one of those things where it's like not another team movie. How many concussions are going to take until Tua can't play or die? So, I just, at this point, not going to trust that offense as a whole. I'm a Waddle owner, and I'm regretting every second of it.
Yeah, same here. I would probably, I probably would not do the trade.
If you're trading that pair, let's put it this way: go out and try and get Kyron Williams. That'd be my target.
It's also a 10-man redraft, so there's probably going to be better talent that pops up later down the line in terms of injuries, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
10-man teams, 10-team leagues. There we go. They tend to be kind of all stars, so yeah, I think there's probably going to be some better value for you if you just hold. I don't think there's any urgency on that end, especially like you said, you're feeling good at receiver yourself, so why force the issue?
I think he's trading away his receivers to get A-Chain. So to give
No, I'm saying like,
Yeah.
if you already feel solid at receiver, I wouldn't move from that position. I would stay feeling good at receiver and kind of just keep it where I am.
Yeah, it's a strong
Right.
tandem.
Because if you get buyer's remorse next week because Evans goes off, yeah, okay, you're still good at receiver, but you could have had Mike Evans for it just depends. I probably wouldn't do the trade, knowing that it's a 10-man. I could probably get something else later.
Yeah, I mean, I like it just based on the fact like it's sliding Higgins is my 3, and then I can upgrade my running back position because you can't, start everybody at that point. But the James Conner part is the part that is hard for me alone. You could probably go shop Mike Evans alone and get Kyron Williams. You could probably go and get who's a lower running back that isn't performing right now. Travis Etienne. You can go and get. Or you can get 2 running backs at that matter. So it's just a matter. Hit me up on my Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Baseball, and we'll go a little bit more in depth on this.
Yeah,
I think it actually looks.
definitely reach out. And if you're hesitant, I'd say don't do it and wait for a week for Mike Evans to go off, and then sell him high for the same kind of trade. See if you can capitalize on a good week.
Yeah.
All right. Got anybody else? I don't see any other questions in the chat, so I think we are good to wrap.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us and following along. And please follow along on all of our social media. And please sign up on the website. Our social media is at Fantasy Turf War on literally every social media possible. Yeah, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and then Rumble, I believe, right? So yeah, please come and find us, follow us, and Matt, where can everybody find you?
You guys could find me at Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you may podcast, YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Baseball. You can find me on Twitter X at Matthew_Ane. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see how you spell my last name. If not, check the description because it's pretty much a doozy. It's AHNE. But yeah, you can find me anywhere of those places.
And you can find me on Twitter at Corey Bassett NC. And if you know, Bucky Irving. Just saying, if you don't know, go watch the beginning part of this episode after it goes live. But actually, hang on, wait. We care about our fans, right? So Dylan's saying he had to leave for a second to put his dogs to bed. First, what kind of dogs? We love our dogs here. And then he missed our response to the trade question. So let's bring it back up real quick. Just to familiarize. Sorry. But yeah, back on the spot. 0-3, all players are struggling and hurt. Redraft full PPR. Just traded away Richardson, Etienne, Wilson to get Lamar, Montgomery, Ayuk. Do it. Felt risky, love Wilson, but cannot afford another loss.
Yeah. I wouldn't have allowed Wilson in that trade, but I mean, you did it. It's not a bad trade. You upgraded a quarterback. You got some depth. I get it, but probably could have got that deal done without Garrett Wilson at that point.
Nice, yeah. And so Dylan said he's going to go. So Dylan, go check out the full recap because I think we broke it down a little bit better and a little bit more in depth. He also has 4 golden doodles, in case you were wondering. So love it. I have 3. I have a Cane Corso, Chihuahua, and a Lab. So, and then he also dropped us a like and a subscribe. So thank you, Dylan.
Sweet.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
That means there's what, 16? All right. Anyways, so we're back to this card. If you know what this card is, if you know who's on the card. If not, go watch the beginning part of this video, because if you know, you know, and that's all we're going to say about it. But yeah, Corey Bassett NC on Twitter, Fantasy Turf War on all the other stuff. So it's been a cool week and busy week. So the Thursday video should be pretty good. Lauren, where can people find you?
And of
Other
course,
than
you can find
23
me
hours
on...
away from your old house.
Yeah, I would like to tell people that I'm from Atlanta and I moved to North Dakota yesterday.
Yeah, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but and probably we should have asked before, but do you want to share what you got going on and why you said why not, why not?
Oh yeah, of course.
You don't have to, but I'm just asking.
No, I would love to. I literally love talking, so yeah.
Good.
So
Here you go.
I moved to North Dakota because I am working for the Minot Minotauros hockey team, minor league hockey team, doing broadcast, media, and operations. So I'll be doing, there's like a little talk show that we film 4 days out of the week, and that happens every day. So like a kind of similar to this in a live stream platform. I'll be doing social media writing and social media editing, and that kind of thing. So you can also follow along and with that journey if you would like to follow the team on social media. That would be very nice of you. But other than that, you can find me on Instagram, just lauren.elizabeth.hill. That's my whole name. You can find me on X, LinkedIn, TikTok, literally anything. I'm there. So yeah.
Well done. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. You're so good. But with that, be excellent to each other, be kind, and until next time, keep moving forward.
All right, we'll see you guys.